Already we have discussed about Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solutions and the NR method, Newton-Raphson method of load flow solutions. So in the last class, we have started decoupled and fast decoupled load flow studies. Now we are able to complete that particular topic in this class itself. So before going to proceed with the topic, first of all, I shall give you some important tips for preparing the questions in the second chapter, that is power flow analysis or load flow analysis. See, load flow studies consisting of mainly theory questions as well as the problems also. So as far as the theory is concerned, first of all, you are asked to explain various number of buses and the importance of swing bus or slack bus or reference bus. And the second thing is try to explain the method of Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solutions with the by using uh, what do you call that algorithm and flowchart. Similarly, you are asked to explain the NR method by using same algorithm and flowchart also. So you please go to some textbook for seeing those two topics. Okay. So already you people got familiarized with the problems. So definitely algorithm and flowchart are also very easy to understand. But the only thing is you need to practice, right? So along with those theory questions and okay, so along with the theory, those two topics, we are also having one more theory question, that is comparison of load flow solutions. Okay, so along with the previous questions, we are also having one more theory question, that is explain the differences between various load flow methods or load flow solutions. So that includes Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solution and Newton-Raphson method of load flow solution, and also decoupled load flow solutions. Right. So you need to explain the differences by considering some reference points. Okay, so without having reference points, we cannot able to compare those methods. That is also very important here. Okay, now I'm going to share the screen. Contains. Just wait a moment. Some of your friends are going to join. See, already I have muted all the participants, so you don't have any control for unmuting yourself. Suppose if my voice is not audible or the content that I am showing you is not visible, you just inform me, or just you raise your hand, or you just put a small message in the chat box. So that is okay, no problem. Okay, so decoupled load flow studies. So decoupled load flow studies also including the fast decoupled load flow studies. So as I already told you that decoupled load flow studies is the advanced or the extended version of the NR method. So extension of NR method. So already we have discussed about the NR method. So in that NR method, most of the times we are seeing or we are expressing our results in terms of polar coordinates. So the extension of NR formulated in polar coordinates results into the fast algorithm for load flow solutions. So this is just to extended version of the NR method to have the fasting process in the algorithm. The fast algorithm means which will compute the solution in very fast way. Okay, so by taking a very less number of iterations. So that is the advantage, chief advantage of this decoupled load flow studies. Okay, so as far as the complex power of ith bus is considered, already we have derived these expressions. You just go through this. You just go through the PowerPoint presentation here. Already we have seen these cases. Now this is the SI conjugate that can be obtained by considering the VI conjugate or the multiplication of VI conjugate and IA. So already we know that IA is equal to this one. And next step is we are considering. That means let means we are assuming something. So our assumptions are like this: yik is equal to modulus of yik at an angle of minus theta ik. So which can be considered as yik. So modulus at an angle of means cos theta minus j sin theta. That you can consider it as a equation number one, and you can also name that as a g plus jb. Okay. Right. Now Vk is equal to, so Vk at an angle. See, please try to write down on a paper, piece of paper. You you cannot able to understand if you are seeing the derivations. Okay, so you can obtain or you can get some confidence only if you are doing derivations along with me. Okay, so here because of time constraints, I am able to see or I am able to presenting the expressions on the paper, right? Already I have derived all these things. So Vk is equal to Vk at an angle delta k, and Va is equal to Va at an angle delta I. So if you are substituting all these assumptions in the, just wait a moment, all these assumptions in this one, you will get Va conjugate means Va at an angle of minus delta I, and I. So I is equal to, you can substitute yik is equal to modulus of yik at an angle of minus theta ik, and Vk is at an angle of delta k. Okay, so as far as this is concerned, so if you take these Va into delta I into this summation, obviously you will get the multiplication of Vi, Yik, Vk at an angle of delta k minus theta ik minus delta I. So how do you get this minus? So already we have assumed that Yik is equal to minus theta ik, and just now we have obtained the Va conjugate means Va at an angle of minus delta I. So if you make this, obviously you will get Pa minus Jq. Later you need to expand this summation for cos theta. I mean, you can express on the RHS side in terms of rectangular coordinates. So rectangular coordinates means cos theta plus j sin theta form. So once if you expand that expression and if you compare the real and imaginary parts, so what are the real power and reactive power that we are getting here? Now, the only thing is, in this particular case, you are getting, see, again, you are not having negative sign here. Frankly speaking, if you are considering this is equal to plus, obviously you have to put this negative sign. So if you are not having that positive sign on the left hand side, obviously you need not consider that negative sign also. Okay. Now you see, you observe the difference between these two. Pa is equal to this one and this one. Okay. Now, if you want to just, I will give you 2 minutes time for noting all these things. Immediately, please note down. This is also very important. You have to concentrate more to understand this type of particular load flow solutions. Okay, this is not that much easy to understand also. Sometimes I'm using technical words which we are not having in our syllabus. Please try to remember that. Please note down these expressions quickly up to PA and QA. See, I hope everyone are staying safe and healthy. So please wear masks and sanitizers. Use sanitizers. Stay healthy. Okay, don't go outside unless if you are having an urgency. Even though if you are having an urgency, you please take the precautions. Right? Okay, completed. Right. Next. So just now we have compared the real parts and imaginary parts of that PA minus JQA. So we got PA is equal to that one and QA is equal to this one. So PA is equal to this, QA is equal to this. Later I am considering PI and QI individually, and I also separated the diagonal elements and non-diagonal elements. So diagonal elements are nothing but self-impedance or self-admittances. Off diagonal elements are mutual admittances. So whenever you are varying the variable k is equal to 1 to n. Obviously, at some instant of time, k is also equal to I. Now, you need to separate that k is equal to ith term. So, what you will get if you are separating that k is equal to ith term here, now you substitute k is equal to, suppose if you are considering this one, now substitute k is equal to I here. So, what you will get y vi, vk means vi again. So, already y ik means y I and cos theta I. So, this term gets separated, and except this term all the terms are mutual admittances, so that is nothing but k is also varying from 1 to n, and but that should not be equal to I. Okay, now make that as equation number 2, and similarly you can also separate that self admittances in the reactive power also. So make this as equation number 3. So after getting these two variables pi and qi, later see here I have used a term that is after linearization. What do you mean by linearization? So actually this term has not been, not we are not giving that much importance for having the linearization, just we are trying to write down the after linearization. But actually as far as the linearization is concerned, the partial derivatives allows us to approximate the functions just like an ordinary derivatives. Okay, so in this particular case we are doing the partial derivatives, so that will gives you the results in like normal derivatives also, like normal derivatives. Okay, so by taking the one contribution of each elements, by taking the contribution of each elements. Oh, so this is about the linearization, but we are not going to see that. Linearization is also having some important derivations, but that has not been included in your syllabus. So that's why directly we are going to write down after linearization. This part you have to remember. So this part you have to remember. So as far as the linearization is concerned, we are expressing the voltage magnitudes in terms of differences, right? Now you see here, so delta P, delta Q. So this is exactly the similar to that of Newton-Raphson method. Please try to again recollect the concept what we have studied in the Newton-Raphson method. In that Newton-Raphson method also, we are having general concept and normally that one. Obviously, delta P, delta Q is equal to the Jacobian matrix multiplied by delta delta and delta V. So here the voltage magnitude is expressed in terms of percentages. So that's why I have taken delta E by delta E. So this is completely one variable, not two variables. Okay. So after linearization, you are getting delta P and delta Q is equal to H N M L. Sir, what are the parameters of H N M L? So H contains again, that is completely a Jacobian matrix of size n, latter n, latter m, latter L. So all these are n by n matrices. Individually, these are only one letters, but frankly speaking, these are latter. We are going to see that. See HIK, HII, etc., etc. That depends on the value of the bus we are going to calculate, right? So H, N, M, L are Jacobian matrix elements. All those are partial derivatives. So here n and m are equal to 0. So there is a special case here. Why these are zeros? Obviously, we are going to these are n and l. Sorry, n and m are called sub elements. Okay, which are negligibly very small when compared with the H and L. So that's why if you considering those, or if you are neglecting those two components, obviously your problem will be simplified. See, these are all completely depends on the assumptions what we have assumed. Okay, so here now you see here, so n and m are the submatrices, so that's why we are going to neglect these. Why? Because these are negligibly small when compared with the remaining parameters. Okay, so n is substitute n is equal to 0 and m is equal to 0. Here you are directly getting this one, delta P is equal to H into delta and delta Q is equal to this one, right? So how we are going to, so just now I told you that these n and m sub elements are equal to 0. Okay, so how I am considering or how I am assuming those are negligibly small. Suppose if you are considering the real power changes, delta P, that is completely depends on the angle, load angle, but delta P is comparatively or negligibly depends are less sensitive to voltage variations. Already you people have some you are familiar with the concepts of real power, the relationship between the real power and the phase angle, and reactive power and the voltage. So in the case of transmission and distributions, you having this type of relations. How can you control the real power and how can you control the reactive power? Just by controlling the phase angle or the load angle of the generator, you can control the real power. And if you want to control the reactive power, means obviously you can control the voltage. So there is a directly relationship between these two parameters. P is directly proportional to delta, Q is also directly proportional to V. So that means P is more sensitive to phase angles and less sensitive to voltage variations. Similarly, Q is less sensitive to phase angles and more sensitive to voltages. Okay. Now you please see here. So based on that, I am going to eliminate that N and M. Okay. Now you got the point. So that is the assumptions we have taken here. So if we make N is equal to 0, now you see here real power changes. Delta P is less sensitive to 0. So negligibly you can neglect this one. So N neglected. N is neglected. Now if you see this, obviously this is more sensitive to voltage, so that M may be 0. So you can also neglect that M is equal to 0. So you can neglect this one also. See, I am not going to say that is completely 0, but that is negligibly small. Negligibly small. You can take that. Okay. So here M and N both are 0. So if you make this obviously H into delta, so that you will get this one, and delta Q is equal to L into this one. Okay. So immediately please note down this also. I will give you 2 minutes time for noting all these things. Please note down this after linearization. Okay. Now the problem comes into the picture. Okay. Just now we have derived the expressions for Pi and Qi. Now the actual solution delta P and delta Q are completely depends on the elements of H and L. Okay. Now how can we obtain this one? HIK. So HIK is equal to, so dou Pi by dou delta K. Just please try to remember. So try to remember HIK. So we have determined HIK and HII. HIK and HII. So just now I told you that H is a matrix that depends on the size of R, that depends on the value of I. HII means I, suppose if I is equal to 1, obviously you can determine that I H11. Okay, so K is equal to 2 means H12. Suppose if I is equal to 2 means H21. That depends on completely the parameter of I. So I may be varying from 1 to N. Similarly, K is also varying from 1 to N. Okay, already we have derived that one. So first you please be very careful about the PI and the QI also. So while deriving the expressions for off diagonal elements, so off diagonal elements are nothing but the admittance which have been connected in between the ith bus and the kth bus. Okay, so HIK is equal. How can you obtain that HIK? if you take the first partial derivative, see here I am not writing it as d. First of all, you people have to understand when we have to apply the normal differentiation and when we have to apply the partial differentiation. So here I am taking the partial derivative, so that is about the linearization. Okay, so one variable is completely depends on the other variable. So if one variable is expressed directly in terms of that variable, obviously we can apply normal differentiation. But here one variable is expressed in terms of other variables means obviously you can take it as a partial derivative. That is about the linearization. So that's why I don't want to discuss about the linearization concept in detail. Please try to understand. Okay, off diagonal element. Now you see here HIK. How can we obtain HIK? Just by taking the partial derivative of Pi with respect to delta K. Okay, now to obtain this one, these two are very, very important. Now you see here, already here we have obtained this one, Pik is equal to this one. So now consider the first partial derivative dou Pi by dou delta K. So that is the parameter first you are going to identify that. Now you see here, so this is completely with, it is independent of delta K. So obviously this is constant. If you find the partial derivative of this one, obviously you will get 0. Now the only thing is you need to apply partial differentiation for this particular case. For this particular case, now what you will get? So Vi, Vk, Yik is a constant. You can apply the first partial derivative of this cos of theta ik plus delta I minus delta k, right? Now let us see what you will get. Okay, now you see here. Now you see here. How do you get that one? So again, so once if you obtain this one, so here just I have separated by considering sin of a plus b form. Sin a means theta ik, b means delta minus delta k. So sin of a plus b means sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. So here a is nothing but theta ik and b is nothing but delta minus delta k. So from equation number 1, we can write, now what is equation number 1? Just you please go through that. What is equation number 1? So equation number 1 is this one, mod yik cos of theta ik minus j sin theta ik. Now from equation number 1, this one, so g plus jb is equal to, that means hik is equal to completely this one. Next, cos, so sin of theta ik. Now what is sin of theta ik here? B. So if you compare g plus jb with this one, obviously you will get g is equal to cos theta ik, b is equal to minus sin theta ik. So how can we write that one? First of all, so here sin theta ik is there, but when we compare both the real part and imaginary part, you will get minus sin theta ik is equal to minus bik. So cos of delta I minus delta k plus gik. Obviously we have seen that one also. So gik is equal to sin of this one. So here again the conditions are also have been given. What is that? Bik is equal to yik into sin theta ik, gik is equal to yik cos theta ik. How do you get that equations? Now you please see here. Yik, so g is equal to yik multiplied by cos theta ik and j multiplied by j into yik into sin theta ik. So everything have been already clearly seen this one. Okay. Now BIK is equal to this one and GIK is equal to this. When we compare this one with the previous case, okay, that is the only thing you need to remember, please. Later, we are going to determine LIK. Okay, LIK. So LIK, how do you obtain that LIK? So if you take the first partial derivative of that function, dou by dou vk by mod vk multiplied by dou qa, obviously you will get that one first of all. Again, for that purpose you need to consider this equation qi. So if you make this if you want to determine partial derivative of qi with respect to delta k, again the first term is going to be neglected and you need to consider the second one. you need to consider the second one. Now this is the case how we are going to obtain. Later again we are considering equation number 1 for evaluating these concepts. Now if you want to compare HIK and LIK, now you see here, now HIK LIK is equal to, so VIK, this one, please take a look at this, take a look at this. So here I am forget to take this into the this one. So here you can write this YAK. So obviously both are same, both are same, this one and this one. So these are off diagonal elements. These are off diagonal elements. Now what about the diagonal elements? Again you need to determine what is HII and what is LII. Please try to note down these off diagonal elements. I will give you some time for noting all these things. These are very important. See, you will get some confusion while deriving the expressions, particularly in the case of this one, decoupled and fast decoupled load flow studies. First you note down all these things. Okay. Now please quickly note down these things also. So later, while deriving the diagonal elements also, we can easily determine the partial derivative of that particular equation what we have seen. That means equation number 2 and equation number 3. Equation number 2 and equation number 3. So dou Pi by dou delta I, which is equal to that one. Okay. So again, I don't want to discuss these partial derivatives. You people have to do this. Okay, everything I have written here. Everything I have written here, right? So please note down HII. Right? So these are about the off diagonal elements and the diagonal elements, and this is HII, and similarly you can also obtain this is LII. See, one thing is very clear. If you clearly understand the concept, obviously it is very easy. Because next we shall solve one problem based on this. Obviously in the problem you are going to see how easy it is. But these expressions are very important. First of all, you have to know what is the off diagonal elements and how we can also obtain the diagonal elements. Okay. Now the finally the approximations made for evaluating the Jacobian matrices. So you have to write down these approximations also. Without these approximations, we cannot able to write down all those things. So approximations are made for evaluating the Jacobian elements are cos of, so that will be approximately equal to 1. So GIK multiplied by sine of delta I minus delta K less than or equal to BIK. and QA is less than or equal to BII multiplied by VA square. Okay, now the off diagonal elements LIK is equal to HIK, LIA is equal to HIA. Okay, that's what we have derived just now. So you can simply substitute. You can simply substitute. Obviously, you will get this one. So here already we have determined this delta P is equal to H multiplied by delta. If you are substituting that one, so delta P is equal to VIK. Sorry, VI multiplied by VIK dash multiplied by delta K. So similarly this one. So where BIK dash and BIK double dash are the elements of BIK matrix. Further decoupling, and the further decoupling means fast decoupling. So omitting B double dash at the angle shift. So these are the very important ones. So these are the assumptions. Okay, we cannot say anything regarding this one. So without having these assumptions, we cannot able to solve the decoupled and the load flow decoupled. I mean, so every student is facing how we are going to have these equations and these expressions. But once if you are familiarized with the assumptions what we have made, so finally why we need to consider the assumption for a particular solution in order to obtain a quick solution for that. Okay, quick solution for that. So it sometimes it is better to have to avoid some parameters, and to have it is better, it is also better to avoid that any complexity in the expressions part. So that's why we are going to have some assumptions, and without those assumptions we cannot able to solve even a single problem as well as the solution also. Please try to write down these, at least you try to write down these assumptions. This one is very important. So what for we are going to study about the load flow, decoupled load flow and fast decoupled load flow studies. This one, this one. So already we have derived the LIK, and we have also derived the off diagonal. That means diagonal elements and off diagonal elements. Diagonal elements is just nothing but LIA or HIA. Off diagonal elements are LIK and HIK. So those are the original expressions what we have derived, and these are the expressions. So finally, these are very very important. This is your final conclusions. Final conclusions made from the decoupled load flow studies. Please note down this. Okay. Just make a note of this. Okay. Now we are going to see one important differences between the load flow studies. We will have some time, so we will see that one also, right? See, don't worry about that. The notes, definitely whenever I completed unit number one and unit number two, see already unit number one has been completed, and after completion of unit three, I will give you, or I will upload the unit one, unit two, unit three contents. Right? Please go through that. See, notes is only for your reference, not for the study purpose. That is only for your reference. Okay, please try to understand also. So I'm having these notes. Definitely, I will give you this also. Don't worry about that. Please, but this is only for your reference, not for preparation or etc. Right. Now, comparison of load flow studies. See, each and every point is clearly mentioned in this. So, for a Gauss-Seidel method, first of all, it is very important to um, identify the differences between Gauss-Seidel method and Newton-Raphson method. Okay, Gauss-Seidel method is the variables are expressed in terms of rectangular coordinates, where Newton-Raphson method the variables are expressed in terms of polar coordinates. So the coordinates representation is also very important. The second one is the number of mathematical operations per iteration. That means if the Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solution takes larger number of iterations for computing a solution, but that is not in the case of uh, sorry computation time. Computation time is nothing but uh, the number of mathematical operations per iteration. For one iteration, how many mathematical operations that particular solution may take. So whenever we are considering that one, in this particular case, Gauss-Seidel is superior method than Newton-Raphson method. And later in the third one, the convergence characteristics. Convergence characteristics. So in the case of GS method, we are having the linear convergence characteristics, but in the case of Newton-Raphson method, we are having quadratic convergence characteristics. So because of quadratic convergence, the Newton-Raphson method will converge faster than the GS. That is also very important. So based upon the convergence, the speed of operation will be increased. Okay, that is so in this particular third point is concerned, obviously NR method is superior than the Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solutions. And the next one is in GS method the number of iterations increases with the number of buses, but that is not in the case of NR method. That means uh, um, the number of iterations. Suppose if you are considering the Gauss-Seidel method of load flow solutions in that particular case, suppose if the system considered is having n number of buses, obviously you require n number of iterations. Suppose if n is equal to 20 means obviously you will get you will have 20 iterations to compute the given problem, but that is not in the case of NR method. So when we compare the number of iterations, obviously in this particular case NR method is superior than the GS method. So it may take a lesser number of iterations for computing the answer. Okay. The fifth one is GS method convergence is affected by the choice of slack bus and the presence of series capacitors, but NR method is less sensitive to these parameters. So how can we say that the linear convergence is a little bit slower than the quadratic convergence? So based upon that, first of all, here he has given 2 points for those which are affected the linear convergence characteristics. The first one is the choice of selecting the slack bus and the presence of series capacitors. So these are the main reasons for affecting the linear convergence. So obviously your computation time has been decreased. Okay. Now the third one, sixth one, last one is NR method needs 3 to 5 iterations to reach the acceptable solution for a large system, but GS method requires large number of iterations for the same level of accuracy. So as we are talking about the accuracy, Norton-Raphson method may take 3 to 5 iterations, but as far as the Gauss-Seidel method is considered, you require 20 to 25 iterations for computing that particular solution. Now, these are the important 4 points that are included in the fast decoupled load flow study. So, convergence is, so when we talk about the convergence as a reference point, Gauss-Seidel method linear convergence, Newton-Raphson method quadratic convergence, and fast decoupled load flow studies are geometric convergence. So, obviously 3 to 5 iterations may take for the Newton-Raphson method to compute the answer, but in this particular decoupled load flow studies it may take 2 to 5 iterations normally required. Okay, and the third point is reliability is more than the formal NR method. So please try to understand the fast decoupled load flow study. This is just extended version of NR method. This is not a new method. This is just extension of NR method. So that's why every time I'm talking about the convergence. So these all terms are related to the Newton-Raphson method. Okay. Now if you see this, if delta P by delta delta and delta Q by delta V are calculated efficiency and the speed of operation per iteration of FDLF is nearly 5 times that of the normal NR method, about 2 by 3 times that of GS method. So here the efficiency of the system when we apply fast decoupled load flow studies for calculating the load flow solutions is already given. So which is the efficiency is 5 times than that of normal NR method and 2 by 3 times that of GS method. Now see how accurate it is, how efficient it is. So that's why we prefer fast decoupled load flow methods for calculating the load flow solutions. So this is the advanced version of NR method, right? So that's all for today. If you are having any doubts, you please raise your doubts. No? Okay, thank you.